What is up? Welcome back for another webinar. Super excited for tonight's topic, by the way. Oh my gosh, man, this is about to be the bomb or kaboom tonight, as I'm about to bring in a special guest here in a couple of minutes. He is someone that is absolutely crushing it with annuities. And tonight's topic is all about how to boost your income with annuities specifically. Dude, I'm a big fan of the gentleman we have hanging with us tonight. I'm going to prelude and introduce him. We're going to be talking about again tonight about how to increase your income with annuities. When it comes to selling more annuities, this is the absolute best webinar you could possibly be on. The gentleman on the other camera may not say that, but I can promise you it's absolutely true. Here's what's cool about Chad. I've known Chad and I've been following Chad, respected everything he's accomplished ever since 2017 or 2018.
Yeah.
We chatted way back when. I've been watching everything he's been doing. Him and another gentleman, Jesse Black, in his office will both most likely exceed $40 million in annuities on their own personal pin this year.
Yeah.
They have it dialed in. It's super incredible. We're going to be training on that. Also, we have been working behind the scenes. I'll prelude it now, and we'll talk about it a little bit later. A new annuity marketing system where you will get
Mm,
access to our Kaboom annuity leads, as well as Chad, his training, annuity training,
mm,
and access to their actual agency management suite, their actual automation system for working annuity leads. And that's exactly what Chad's been doing with us for the last few months, maybe longer. It's been going well. I feel like Chad, if you give you any annuity lead on the planet, you're going to eventually find a way to help people and make some money, though.
That's an interesting statement because there's actually a lot of people think that. And yes, I will make the most of every lead that's in front of me. But there are some out there that I found over the years, and this is why it's such a big deal partnering with you, Cody, is because there's a lot of people that have been asking to do this. There's a lot of people that I've actually helped. I mean, if you know an effective annuity marketing system out there right now, whether it be scrubbed internet leads, a lot of radio programs. I've been involved in that. In other words, I've been heavily involved in the ones that have made it. I'm the one that they actually will call and they'll say, hey, what should I say for the script? How should I preface this? And it's very important because there are certain people out there that I will not partner with it. For
Mm,
example, when you're saying, hey, you're going to make 19% returns or you're going to unrealistic expectations as far as the assumed form of marketing, I won't be involved in that. But we've been very particular on what we say, what we do in this program. And I know with your ethics and integrity, you're going to be the same way. You want to make sure it's going to be done right.
Amen. So true. That's what, yeah, I would agree. There's so, it is very, and this is a nugget for everybody listening. You need to be extremely careful who you do business with, who
Yes.
you trust, who you let into, your house, so to speak, right?
Yeah.
And I am loving working with Chad and his team. Josh Delgado is so
Yeah.
impressive,
He's
amazing.
awesome.
Yeah, you
So
guys have
good.
an amazing operation.
Yeah.
Also, for those joining, Adam on my team is going to be giving me a link so that I can share so that you can actually jump on his calendar. Should you have questions about our annuity marketing system, or if you would like to talk to our team and get more information about that. Either way, tonight you are going to get some amazing annuity training. I just posted a link to jump on Adam's calendar should you want more information about our annuity marketing system.
Not
However,
should. You should want to
you
call him.
should. I
It's like
love it.
I'm telling you, the years of developing leads and working leads, it has been crazy town. I mean, it is unbelievable. The ones that will say, I actually track this. I've spent over $1 million over the past 10 years testing lead systems. This isn't the leads for me. This is testing leads because the ones that work, I don't count as testing because they ended up going from testing to now I'm effectively using them. These are ones that I've tested that didn't work. And I mean, over $1 million. Think about that because I will never use a lead system that I don't use myself. In other words, I'll never promote a lead system. Let me rephrase that. I never promote a lead system that I don't use myself. And that's very important to understand because there's a lot of armchair marketers out there. And I have no problem with marketers and the FMOs, but they promote leads they know nothing about. They'll tell you this works, and it's so frustrating from an agent standpoint. You'll get these leads, and you're going, none of these people were actively pursuing annuity. Is literally a number out of a phone book. And we are not doing that here. We are making sure these are people who know about the annuity, the way we're phrasing it. I was just working with Adam and Cody today. What questions should we have on these leads that are going to be that I'm already using? I already have these leads that I'm using. So, what questions are going to be the best? So, I'm heavily involved in not only the training, the script, and how are we getting in front of these to make these the most affordable, effective leads on the entire annuity arena, in the entire annuity arena.
Amen. Amen. And being able to pick your brain and have access to you and your team has been
Yeah.
invaluable. I do not know that much about annuities. I know a lot about marketing, but man, when we can put our
You know
brain,
what, Cody? I know what you are. You are the world's greatest connector in our industry. That's what you are. Your job, you take superpowers and you get them working together in alliance. And that's what it comes down to because I've seen some of the people you have on your podcast and in your circle. And that's, you know what, I used to follow this guy. His name's Bob Harrison, and he always had some really good stuff to put together. But man, the people he could connect was unbelievable. And that's what you are. You're the connector. You are absolutely. Yep.
appreciate that, buddy. That's amazing. Um, well, from Chad, for those that maybe, if they're in the annuity world, they've got to know you by now. But let's just say they're new to the annuity world and they do not know you yet. What's your story? How did you end up going from, not selling insurance or annuities to $40 million a year?
Yeah. So basically, I was in the jewelry business for years. I actually got married when I was 19 years old. I've been married for over 31 years and just had this drive from the very beginning of, always being successful. Failure is not an option. It's, when I have Christ in me, I have the Holy Spirit in me, I get these ideas, crazy ideas, and it's just, they work. But it comes with a lot of hard work, a lot of hard work. So, was in the jewelry business for many years, and you could say, "Oh, your wife must have loved that." Well, we didn't have a lot of money. When you have four kids and you're raising them, money's not that easy to come by at times. And then I ran a LASIK eye surgery center for a year, and long story short, between those, just didn't want to be a part of corporate anymore. So my brother said, "Why don't you get into insurance?" And I said, "Okay," got into it. Immediately broke a record. My first month, I wrote 39,000 in target premium for life insurance, mortgage protection. But then I found out that was slimy business. I got the vice president coming in, flying in, because he's like, "Who's this guy writing business?" And in the meeting, there's a bunch of people in this room. In this meeting, he's like, "You guys got to be like Chad. You need to write more business like Chad." And I just couldn't handle it. I raised my hand and he's like, "Yes." I said, "Who's Chad?" He's like, "What do you mean?" I said, "Who's Chad?" And he goes, "It's you." And I said, "You don't know me." I said, "Yeah, I could be slimy. I could be doing things wrong. I could be unethical. And you're sitting here, every person in this room, you're belittling and saying they need to be more like me, and you don't know who I am."
Mm,
And so only in sales can you insult the VP and they invite you out to lunch. And they said, "Well, come on, what's your drive? What's your drive?" And I said, he goes, "It's got to be about the watch, right?" And he said, "Nope, there's my watch." And he said, "Well, what about homes and things like that?" I said, "Yep, it, time doesn't control me. I'm very deliberate in time, but time doesn't control me." But so he's sitting there uh, basically belittling. He couldn't figure out. I said, "My number one drive is to help people honestly and ethically. That's what it is." And so, long story short, there, I found out how slimy that industry was. Now, there's good people. I'm not saying they're not, but there's some really good people, but a lot of them were slimy. Like they were telling me to do, on a non-med product, they don't do a blood test or anything. So they said even if they smoke, tell them they're non-smokers. And I'm like,
mm,
but then that means that they have that contestability time frame. So after 3 months of trying to do this was another organization, I said, "Forget it." And I went out on my own. and man, became $150,000 in credit card debt. My daughter had a brain aneurysm. She had to learn how to walk, talk, eat, everything all over again. She's great now. Obviously, I just hung out with her a little bit today, but just dug deep into the trenches of this is what it takes. I mean, literally put my heels down, going, you know what, we've got to figure the system out. And ever since then, now I'm in the annuity arena primarily, and it is about ethics and integrity. And what can we do? We find a problem, we find a solution. That's what it
Mm.
comes down to. It's not about the commission, it's not about the company, it's not about, those are all things that are important, but they are not the primary. If you are honest and ethical and you know the products inside and out and you know how to find the problem, you will find the solution. And all that other stuff comes in. You have great companies that have ethics and integrity, that have a good financial rating. You have a good customer service that you deal with these clients. And if you don't have, or you have an insurance company that had good customer service and now they don't, then I actually give all my clients my cell phone number. And yes, that's thousands of people that have my cell phone number. So that's how I got into the business. And now I found that, for the past 11 years, my wife and I spend 12 to 14 weeks a year traveling the world throughout the year. And we get to do this because of the industry. So I get to live a life of security and safety by helping others live a life of safety and security. And that's what we get to help everybody here do.
That's amazing. Why annuities for you at this
So when I
point?
built the company, well, we're coming over 20 years now. I want to figure out, first of all, what's something that stands the test of time? And annuities have. The ancient annuities, actually 2,000 years. Annua used to be the form of payment for soldiers, Roman soldiers during the Roman Empire, during the time of Christ. So they would pay their soldiers once they retired. Then you look at the modern annuity, it's over 300 years old. The Lutheran Church started the modern annuity. But here's something even crazier. The
Mm.
annuity has way more depth thanks to Chat GPT, which you guys, you're gonna find I'm a big fan of that because there's so much information. You can go back every century and you can see where the annuity has actually helped fund kingdoms and empires. And it's helped people. The Templars used to be part of the annuity system where they would pay people and they'd get income for life. So this is something that was stood the test of time. Then I was like, okay, what do a lot of politicians or government people or very wealthy people do? They use pensions. Any good pension is secured by an annuity, not a company funded pension, but an annuity is often the source of their pension, so it backs it up. So I was going, okay, this means there's probably a good chance it's not going to be messed with by politicians, which it generally isn't. There's a group out there, we all know, that are trying to get annuities to be a security. They're trying to get FIAs to be a security. It probably will never happen. I'm not saying guaranteed, but probably won't because they've already had rulings, three rulings now that prove that a fixed indexed annuity is not a security. So they just keep referring back to the original rulings. So now it's something that's probably more protected by the government. Then you look at the security of insurance companies. Now, me personally, I have not found a fixed insurance company that has disappeared that had or their annuities became insolvent. I haven't found any, and I went back since the latter 1800s. So I'm always welcome if somebody can find someone that is a big, stable company, then of course, let me know. But because I want to research that and make sure that it is true. But so when you look at annuities, they are the only, and I'll debate this all day long. Find me one other product that can provide safety, security, guaranteed income you can never outlive with no risk to the market. You can't find it. CDs don't do that. They can have guaranteed income for whatever term the CD is, but that's not guaranteed, because once you get to the end of that term, what's the new renewal rate going to be? There is nothing else that provides safety and security. So in guaranteed income without market risk. So if you look at, people in the mortgage protection industry, uh, people that are in the Medicare industry, people that are in the life insurance industry, what do people have? What longevity insurance do people have? And that's an annuity. longevity insurance is provided by an income annuity without, excuse me, with an income rider to where no matter how long you live, the income can never go away. So that's my soapbox for the moment.
I love that. Can you guys tell he's passionate about annuities,
I
right? Like,
love what I get to do. Think about it. Okay, Cody, I know you're into football, right?
yes,
And you're into basketball. Why, I don't know, but it's the sport of fouls. So you can't even play without getting fouled out. The sissies, you
that's
barely
true.
bump them, and they're glorified soccer. That's all they are. It's like they get hurt and they're on the ground and they're crying like,
So
yeah,
true.
except for women's soccer. Those people, holy cow, they can play. But anyway, so it's an industry that I always win. My teammates always win because when the market falls, they always get their
Mm,
income. They never can lose due to market volatility. They always win. So when you think about that, yes, how can you not be passionate about this? Now my one of my business partners, Jesse Black, he does 40 million a year as well between annuities and AUM, but he is always uses things that do have a lot less risk. He has things that maybe has a 0% floor and an 8% high. And so I'm not going to go into details on it because I'm not securities licensed, but that's part of the training you get is GSA Black. So between the two of us, we're on track to do 80 million between just the two of us in the FIA and AUM. His AUM is probably going to be about half of his FIA business. So it's phenomenal. Yeah.
it's incredible. Also, the four things you said, I was trying to take notes: safety, security, guaranteed income for life, and no market risk.
A safety, security, guaranteed income you can never outlive with, yeah, no market risk. I'm sorry, you are correct. So
Okay, okay.
safety,
I think you
security,
worded it differently, but that was
yeah,
okay.
correct. Yeah.
Cool, cool.
Yeah.
Um, I love that. Also, I feel like what happens a lot is a lot of people are extremely intrigued by annuities.
Mhm.
They 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 realize the opportunity that's available, how much they can help people. Um, you hear a lot of influential people in the industry and in finance in general that say it's got to be a part of their portfolio naturally, which is awesome. Um, even our buddy Tom Hegna says that constantly. Is it as difficult as people think?
You said something to me right before I went on stage, and it was when I say something right before, probably a day or two before, you said, "Can you help people understand that annuities are not scary?" And
Mm,
I'm like, whoa, because I've really realized that we help agencies, Medicare agencies that have four, five, six, seven, 10,000 agents. And then you said that our constant thing is why is there such a perception that annuities are scary? And here's part of the reason because they don't know how to explain them. An annuity is very simple. It's a contract with an insurance company that has backed up guarantees that uses indices to determine what your gains are or a fixed rate, and they often have riders attached to them that create benefits that are legacy building. So, in other words, it's not complicated at all. But when you have constant news out there, annuities are difficult, annuities are complicated. No, they're not at all. Now, the complexity behind the indexes can be very daunting, but you don't have to go into the in-depth details, actuarial numbers of the indices in an annuity. You have to let your clients know that this is how the annuity works. You give the money to the insurance company, they make a deal with you. Whether that deal is a bonus, whether it's good index strategies, whether it's good income value and growth, that's all they're doing. So it doesn't have to be complicated. I mean, here's the thing. I use this analogy, and I've done this. I don't know if I've used this with you before, Cody, but one of the things I had this pilot, and this pilot was a very arrogant pilot, which a lot of the good ones are. And you want that. You want them confident they're going to save you in an emergency. But he basically takes the brochures and he throws it back to me. I'm sitting across with him at the table and he throws it back to me. And he goes, I'm not doing anything until I know what every little thing in here does. I said, man, that's kind of hypocritical. And he says, what? What'd you say? I said, that's hypocritical. He goes, I said, you were listening to my radio show. You called in, you wanted my help, but then you tell me you won't do everything till you understand what every little thing does. I said, "You're a pilot, right?" He goes, "Yeah." I said, "Not once, I love to fly. Not once have I ever went up to the cockpit of the plane and said, 'I'm not letting you take me anywhere till I know what every little button does.'" So what would happen there? And he goes, "You'd probably be arrested and taken off the plane." And I said, "So I don't need to know what every little button does." And it clicked in his head. And he goes, "You're right." I said, "I need to know two things." He goes, "What's that?" I say, "No, number one, you're a safe pilot. You're 62 years old. You're still flying. That means you're probably safe. Number two, I need to make sure your airline is safe. I need to make sure that no matter how good you are, the airline has a consistency along the way to make sure their planes are maintained." But I said, "Here, are you a good pilot?" And he said, "I'm an incredible pilot." I said, "Okay, now I want to go to Hawaii, and you're an incredible pilot. We have a safe airline. Now, I don't like turbulence. It makes me a little scared." I said, "Can you guarantee me that during that flight that I will not have any turbulence at all?" And he said, "No, I can't." I said, "I can. I'm a financial pilot. The product I put you in will get you to your destination and no turbulence along the way because we're not in volatile markets." So there.
That's that's gold. What a story. Oh my
Mhm.
gosh. That's what I love about you too is for those that weren't at 8%, Chad was one of our headline keynote speakers at this year's 8% conference. Crushed it. And you know what I noticed and learned is you are one of the best storytellers that I've been around. And it helps things click. Like it helps people come to a realization. Um, wow,
You
that's
have to be relatable. I mean, that's why Jesus spoke in parables. Often it was to confuse everybody around him, except for his core team, which I love that. It's kind of speaking code. But the stories are relatable. And so when I'm looking at people I'm helping, I don't want that person that is a lunch person, cafeteria lady, like, which by the way are some of the sweetest people in the entire world. But that person that feels like they know nothing and they're scared and it just the talk of finances makes them want to cry. I want to be that calm in that storm. And actually at 8% next year, if I'm allowed back, but I already have what I'm going to talk about. And it's being the calm in the storm for the people around you. That's what I want to be. And this product does that. This solution, you get to be the calm. The life is all about storms, man. No matter who you are, no matter how much money you have, you are always going to get in these storms. So can you be that calm in people's storm? And obviously we know only Jesus can be that, but he's given us tools to where we can all do that. And like I said, Jesse's a great person. He owns part of Retirement Realize. He is a securities licensed person. So I don't want people to think I'm against securities. I'm not at all. I'm against using securities in something that needs to be guaranteed. And
mm,
that's where our product comes into play. You know, if you want to risk money, you go for it. You can win big, you can lose big. But the annuity with an index or the indexed annuity with an income rider is the only thing that provides calm in that storm. And so, and I could also say, so does a good Medicare program. So does good life insurance. I mean, when God forbid, but you lose a spouse and you got four kids at home, that storm is massive, but that $1 million life insurance payout, once the emotions are able to calm down a little bit, is going to provide some safety and security. So there's a lot of things we do that can provide that calm.
yes. Yes, yes, yes. I also took some notes too. You said it's annuities a contract, um, an insurance contract with guarantees tied to indices and fixed rates with riders to help with legacy building. I think I
Mhm.
got most of that right. Yeah,
Yep.
that's good.
Yeah.
I never heard it explained like that.
Because
Um,
remember, income riders are not just for income. They can be for a kid's college, a grandkid's college. They can be a vacation fund. They can be tax. I mean, if you live in Texas or some of the other state, property taxes are very high. So the annuity provides a lifetime payment of taking care of those taxes during retirement. There's all sorts of reasons you can have income riders. 90% of my business is with the income riders. And I could go into a whole reason why more agents don't do annuities with income riders. Quite frankly, the primary one I think is because they want renewal business. They want in 5, 7, 10 years, they want that indexed annuity to be time to be renewed and they get another sale. If I do an income rider, I'm not getting a sale with that money ever again because we've
Mm,
already told your job is to provide income for the rest of their life. So there's a whole bunch of reasons why people don't do it, but 90%. They say, well, most of the people I meet with don't need income. That is not true. You are not doing an income fact, you're not doing a fact finder properly if you find that the case. Because I can find an angle in anybody at any time. If you're a variable person, I can find an angle. If you're a fixed person, I can find an angle. If you're old or you're young, I can find an angle. How do we present ourselves and how are we getting information?
wow. I did not realize it was that high. That's great.
Yeah.
Also, too, here's what I love about us being able to partner together and work together with the annuity marketing system is we have done annuity leads previously, right, with you and other advisors. However, we were lacking the training and the
Mhm.
technology
Yeah.
completely. And we were able to go to you and say, we need some help here. We're getting a lot of individuals and advisors that need more training. They want access to, some of them are like, hey, what is Chad using? What is Chad doing? What is Chad saying? You know, and I'm like, right, which is funny.
Cody, I've had two people buy full-size pickup trucks because I had a full-size pickup truck. I said, that's not it. You're missing the point. But say, what kind of truck do you drive? And then they send me a picture. They just bought a brand new full-size. I'm like, that's not what it's about. Yeah,
That's so
every lead order you get, and I'm telling you, it is incredible. Every lead order you get, you have full access to all of our training. You have full access to our weekly calls, which Jesse and I are usually at least one of them's on it every single time. We're literally going over exactly what we do. Now, Jesse is the king of the virtual annuity sale. The guy does 20 million a year in virtual appointments. I'm probably at about, I think I'm at 27 million so far this year. And I'd say probably half of mine are from existing clients, but then the other half would be, excuse me, half of them would be from virtual. And then probably half of those would be from existing clients. So I am not near what this guy is in the virtual world. And he is, and he does it and he knows it. So this is all included in the training. All the little things we send out, the stress and rocking chairs drip for all of our clients. That is included in this. You literally get every little detail of what and how I do my business. I am not afraid to share my little secrets because they're not secrets. I want everybody to do better. Well, what if somebody goes and copies me? Great. That means more people are getting accurate information. So all of this is included in your lead order because the number, Cody, you and I know this. The number one thing people always ask is, where can I get leads? Where can I get leads? What if I could take your 20 leads that you're probably closing four of, and we could get you to close eight instead of $150 or 150,000 average per application. My average per application is 430,000 per client, and I have no different lead system than anybody else. I've done this in Colorado, I've done this in Texas, I've done this in Wyoming, I've done this in all others. It's the same amount. Why? Because people have a lot more money than they're willing to tell you, but once they find out that you have a solution to this problem, that they've been laying awake hours a night trying to figure out how they're going to do this, they'll tell you everything they have and where they have it. I mean, I've even had guy bring out bags of silver and lay it on their table, and this is what they have. I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa! I say you don't need to do that. But the point is when the training is more important. Caleb North, which he's God, man, he's 28 years old, and the guy is a killer. Probably not probably. He is the top three marketers I've ever known in my entire life anywhere.
Mm.
And he'll tell you if I can get you 10% more closes on your leads with 10% more volume, it increases your volume so much more. And that has to do with training. And it's the most underrated thing in our entire industry. We all know this. I mean, Cody, you literally you have a lot of better things to do with your life than drive from place to place doing these road shows, right? But you do that. I mean, once you get your jet and you can just land right there and you have the helicopter, actually do an Osprey. That way it literally can land in any parking lot. But, when you drive to these things often and it's to help educate people. Now, most would say, oh, well, he's just trying to sell something. No, your heart is to help people first. And if they want to do that, they look at that water and they go, oh man, I need to drink some of this. This is perfect. So that is what you're getting with the leads. It's included in the order. All of our training, weekly calls, and they're very stinking affordable. What we get these for is the most affordable lead system that I can tell you. I know one right now that does the same thing. They do scrubbed, their internet leads, they're scrubbed, just make sure they're not an agent or they're not a solicitation. They're $300 a piece each. No training, nothing else comes with that. The other system is 300. Well, actually, there's two people that do the 300 a piece. No extra training, no marketing tips, no help whatsoever in that area, no weekly calls. And that's all included in this.
It's awesome. Yeah, it's really cool too because, like, as an example, we've got two different tiers of the agency marketing system. Sorry, the annuity marketing system. We have tier one, 5K a month. You're getting 20 leads plus the training plus the technology, right? Pretty much 250 a lead plus you're getting training and the tech,
Yeah.
which is normally separate, right? It's all inclusive. Tier two is $7,500 a month, and you get at least 40 leads a month minimum, which, if you do the math, makes it 187.50. Plus, you're getting the training and the technology included. And so, as an example, that's the lead piece, right? Which is a long form survey, annuity, and retirement lead where you're getting a bunch of information. And on every single lead, this is really, really key to add. We use a AI phone verification software to verify that every lead is a real cell phone number. Here's what happens. A prospect is going through the retirement survey. Once they get to the very end and they've already given a bunch of information, then they say, here's my phone number, and they have to click verify phone. And when they click verify phone, it activates the software. They get a text to their cell phone number. They have to go to their cell phone, open it, see the text message, and then go back into the funnel and input that 6-digit verification code to verify that it is a real cell phone number. And so every lead you get, you will know it's 100% a real accurate cell phone number of that specific prospect, right? Which is cool. And you're getting access to annuity specific training videos from Chad and his team. Included in that, you're getting access to a weekly annuity training call, and you're actually getting signed up for Chad's annuity specific CRM, where you will get a login to this and it will then start to drip on your leads for you as well, which is really, really, really cool.
So I'm doing a numbers thing. I'm a very number driven person.
I love it.
And so if you look at, give me 1 second here, because this is important to
Good, buddy.
know.
Also, Nancy just said, hey, what happens after 3 months? You can continue,
Yeah.
right? And you can continue
So
on a monthly basis.
if you said the lead system 440 is 7,000 a piece, correct?
So,
Or 7,000 per order.
7,500, 7,500.
7,500. Okay, 7,500. So if you do 40 leads and you close 20%, so 20% it would be a good ratio. That's not great. That's not bad. That's just good. So you close 20% at 250,000 per appointment. Remember, I said the industry average is 150,000. Mine's 470,000. So let's just say 250,000 per client. So that's $2 million a month in premium. Okay. Now that'd be really good because if you can do that consistently, problem is most people get a good sale and then they leave and they're done and they coast for a while and then they wonder why they can't be consistent because they get their big deal and then they stop. That's $100,000 in compensation at only 5% comp, which I say is a little low. Generally it's closer to 6% average. So for basically a $7,500 cost, you just made $100,000.
Wow.
Find me an ROI anywhere that's something even close to that. Do you know most companies, you know this, Cody, you're a business person, but most companies operate on a 1.5 to 5% margin. That's their margin. I mean, you look at $7,500 cost for $100,000 in compensation. Now, I'm going to tell you, that's not a realistic number. What do I mean by realistic number? Somebody writing 2 million a month is a machine. There's someone that doesn't get distracted, doesn't get deterred. They're determined on success and they're determined on helping people because I go into the same thing. I used to have this guy, I know he'd write 3 million a year. And what happened? As soon as he hit his 3 million, he vacationed the rest of the year. That was
Mm,
that was his thing. He just wanted, he hits his 3 million. You know what? He's not in the business anymore because you've got to be consistent. Somebody asked about what happens after 3 months. That's a great question. But one of the things you want to do is consistently, if you're even moderately performing in these, then you're going to be reordering 3 months. You'll probably be doubling the order. I mean, you know this. Here, let's have realistic expectations too. It takes a couple weeks to get these things set up because they've got to start the marketing area. They got to make sure everything's going perfect. I mean, all the signing the forms, everything. It takes about 2 weeks. But then all of a sudden, me, as someone who is used to a ton of leads and gets overwhelmed by the number of leads that are consistently coming in. I am now at 32 leads. They started this again. My last order was took a week or so to get it up and running. I now have 32 leads. And I'm going, oh God, I got to call these. And today I don't have a voice. So how do I call? Because nobody wants sicko to show up to their door. Hey, I'm going to help you with your annuities. They're like, no, you're not. I'm not even meeting with you, you COVID driven dodo. And so like, tonight I'm not making calls, but it's driving me nuts because I have all these leads sitting there waiting for me to call them. And so be consistent. It is the key to all people's success is finding something that you love and consistently doing it. I need to back that up. I don't love 60% of the things that I do. I hate making calls. I don't care what. I've tried the positive, what's it called? Positive mental attitude,
mm,
PMA. I've tried it just doesn't work. I don't like doing that. Thank you, Deanna. I just don't. I'm not, you and me talking, let's talk, bud. We can talk a long time. But making calls, it's still the fear of rejection. And I'm going, I get
yeah.
rejected every day of my life. Okay. I'm used to this, but I don't. I don't like sometimes the amount of effort and energy it has to take to study in insurance companies and not just what I'm being told, but literally learn. But what I get to do with my family and the amount of organizations we're able to help support and the impact we're able to make, the footprint we're able to make while I'm alive, that makes it all worth it. I'm telling
Mm.
you, if we could have people being consistent, I mean, literally, Adam should have his calendar completely booked with the number of people we have on this call. Adam should be going, okay, please make Adam feel overwhelmed like I do when these kaboom leads come in. I mean, when I'm sitting there and I'm going, oh my gosh, another one, another one, another one. And so
True.
Cody promised me he's going to have these leads come out on an individual email so I can print them out for every single one instead of the spreadsheet. He didn't say that, but I'm just putting him on the spot.
I'm in.
So,
Whatever you need. Whatever you need.
oh, well, be careful what you say there. I'm a demanding person when it comes to driven with the drive. You are too, though. I mean, eh, that's what I love
True.
about what we get to do. We basically take the master of connection, which is Cody, and your team. And then I'm the one that loves to be out there. Give me a face to face appointment right there with a client that has a solution, a problem with it, and I have the solution. There's nothing more drive than it. Then you take the training and the 80 million plus a year that Jesse and I are going to do together. Like he's totally separate. We're not in the same office. He's a virtual weirdo. I'm the one that loves to meet people face to face. Jesse, this guy is funny. He literally will wear whatever he wants down, like shorts, slippers, whatever it is, and then he wears a nice collared shirt. I want to be face to face. So, yeah. Cody, are we going
Amen.
to have time to answer some of these questions too?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, yes, yes. I
Okay.
wanted to actually touch on that, and then maybe we can jump to some Q&A for sake of time.
Yeah.
Yeah, you brought up a couple things I was thinking about. One, um, I love speaking. I
Mhm.
don't love traveling to the event,
Yeah.
like.
Yeah.
I'm going to an event tomorrow. I've got an event in North Carolina Friday. I've got to go to LA next week, Vegas next week, Dallas the week after that. Like
Wow.
5 trips in about
Wow.
15 days, right? I don't want to go, but I absolutely want to speak. I want to see how it helps people. I want to get the results for our business that comes with it selfishly, right? But I don't want to travel. And if I have a private jet, I'd be more likely to, right? However, we want the results, but we do not want to put in the work. And you are 100% correct. The top producers in our industry that are consistently doing well are consistently talking to people every single week. And when they have a good month, yeah, they may take their family on a vacation, but they're not taking, they're not hitting 3 million bucks and taking the rest of the year off because even though
Yeah.
3 million bucks for some of you that are new to this, you're like, dude, I'll take 3 million bucks. But the reason that advisor is out of the business now is so like as an example, I went and made 100 grand my first year. I took 3 months off to focus on basketball. Guess what happened when I tried to jump back in and start running appointments? I was rusty as could be, and I lost all of my confidence, my
And you
momentum.
wasted that all on basketball. I
That
mean,
too.
you could have picked a real sport. I mean, come on. It's like,
Exactly.
yeah.
I
You know
love it.
what? I got your solution. You and Lauren just get pregnant, have quintuplets, and that will take care of any travel time. You'll
Yep.
you'll you'll literally be trying to do Zoom calls from home, and you'll be going, everybody will understand. Nobody, you'll actually get more sympathetic bias there.
I probably would.
We know
Yeah.
someone in our neighborhood, they had four girls, quintuplets, and oh, quadruplets. I'm sorry, quadruplets. And it was, I mean, four girls at once. I have three daughters and a son, but four. Yeah.
Or at once. How insane is that?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so we got a few questions jumping in. You guys go ahead and jump in. Also, again, I'm listing. This is our launch and release of the annuity marketing system. Honored and grateful that Chad and his team are partnering with us on this. Um, McKay says, "What are your two favorite carriers to do annuities with?"
I find that interesting because I get that question a lot. I don't have favorites. So, for example, last Monday, the carriers changed this, my favorite at the time for most people, which was Equitrust. They changed their rates. Well, now I'm sitting here this week going, okay, who's going to be my favorite? Because that company, the Market 7, was a product that literally for almost every circumstance within 7 years, it had great index strategies. It had a great bonus, a great pull up rate. It had a well being benefit to it. And now it's not number one in all circumstances because they took the 25% bonus down to a 7%. So I never have favorite carriers because I have ones that I love, like, American Equity. I know the leadership team very well. Clear Spring Life, I know the leadership team really well. Equitrust, I know the lead. I mean, I know I have ones where I'm like, God, it's a great group of people there. But for each client, it's going to change. I mean, this year alone, I've written, I think, 8 different carriers, probably 20 different products. So I don't have a favorite. Honestly, I don't.
Good. Deanna says, "Hey, I know enough about annuities to be dangerous, and I've sold some. How long would you say the training takes before you feel confident?"
There's no way to quantify that. How much effort are you going to put into that training? Are you going to be the guy that literally sits there and in front of the computer for 8 hours and studies and writes notes and pursues? Then I could say you could easily get through this in 2 weeks. And to be very proficient in the annuity world arena. But I've had people that have been doing training for 2 years and they still haven't completed the whole course. So there's no way to quantify what type of my. So when my kids don't have jobs, or I mentor a lot of young people, and they say, "Well, I don't have a job." I said, "Yes, you do." And they're like, "Well, what's your job?" Getting a job. So if you're working 40 hours a week and you don't have a job, 40 hours a week plus, you should be an effort to get a job. Well, if you're not writing them out of business, now there's reality in time. Okay. I totally get someone having a very slammed life, but you know what? Trying to watch whatever NBA team is on doesn't matter when it comes to studying. You save yourself, now if the Denver Broncos are playing, you might want to watch that. Or, the Colorado Avalanche, you might want to watch that. Colorado Rockies, don't even waste your time. They're not even worth it right now. But, Denver Nuggets, I don't care if they're champs, they're still not worth watching. But anyway, but you've got to make the energy, or you got to have the energy and the time and be deliberate in your studying. And you can get through it really quick because guess what? When you get through the training, if you're really good, you go back through it again. I have never met a professional athlete or anybody, an executive or someone who's good in their field that doesn't constantly learn. And if I'm going back through my own training, if I'm watching training that Jesse is doing or Caleb's doing, it's because I'm continually trying to get better. And man, I have a leaky brain. There's things I forget, so I need to go back through and study. So, yeah, that's a long
100%.
answer to a very good question.
Cynthia also said, I scheduled my meeting for October the 9th at 1:45. Amazing, Cynthia. That's awesome. Appreciate that. Matt Sukup says, looking at a 15 to 23K investment, if it takes a few weeks to get running, what are you seeing newer agents time frame time frame to submit and get paid and get the ball
So
rolling?
that's a great question because a check with app you can get paid within a week. You're going to get paid. So make sure you qualify every one of your clients say, "Hey, I'm desperate right now. I need it. Is it going to be check with app?" No, don't do that. I'm totally joking. You know what? How pastors sometimes they get one little snippet taken out and it's all over the internet about this what they said. But if you went through the whole thing, you see
Yeah.
that they were just joking. I'm just joking. But I would say 15 to 23,000 investment. I would not be surprised within 2 months if you've doubled or tripled that, at least with going through the training, making sure you're doing your due diligence, having a good company. I could definitely see you tripling that. I mean, I've done it myself. So,
Yeah.
and I was not, it took me in 2008, I think I wrote 9 million off of mortgage protection leads, and I never did less than that from 2008 on. But it was about 11 years ago, I bumped up into the 20 million range. And then 4 years ago, I bumped up in the 30 million range, and I haven't went back since. So it is progression.
It is. Alan says, will there be an
Right.
option to invite prospects to book on our Calendly? In our order form, you can put your phone number or your booking link, and we'll add that. But I'm also curious of Chad's thoughts too.
No, 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 you're the brains behind that, not me.
Cool.
So I know what I am and I know what I'm not, and I'm not that. So whatever you guys can do, if I would say if I could get a Calendly link in that would be great. I would love
Yeah.
to do that.
So
Yes.
it can be provided, and we can add it on the thank you page.
So notes. And I want to shout out Matt though. Matt saying he's looking 15 to 23 investment. I've trained thousands of agents, and not many people do I say see ready to make that type of commitment.
Mm,
I mean, think about what it takes to open up a store. You've got to have all the interior built up. You got to have all the inventory. You got to have advertising. And when someone's willing to invest in themselves and their future, I'm just going to shout them out on that. Good job, Matt. I'll
amen.
follow through and do it. So, because
Yeah.
there's a lot of people that say they're going to do that and they don't. So, good job. Good
Amen.
job.
Ricardo says, can you do face to face with the Kaboom leads? You can now. Full transparency, our annuity marketing system has a 5 state minimum
Yep.
because of the different tiers and make sure we can provide enough leads. However, there are advisors that right now, when they have a big appointment, they fly to it. And I have
Yeah.
100% seen that happen.
It's very common actually. Now, granted, you want to make sure the person doesn't have 50,000 and they're thinking about looking and possibly maybe researching. But I mean, with like Southwest and stuff nowadays, you can get good deals even if you spent 400 or 500 bucks between the airfare and the hotel and the car. I mean, a 5 state radius is most states you can get into other states pretty quick. If you live in Texas, forget it. Texas is its own 5 state territory. I mean, if you're in Austin, it takes you 8 hours to get out of that state in any direction. But a lot of these states you can, like I'll cover Wyoming, cover Kansas, I'll even do Utah. But yeah, so you definitely, my favorite though is face to face. I love face to face appointments. But Zoom, I'm amazed the number of people that are getting very comfortable with Zoom.
Mhm.
It's kind of like the new, and I'm as an agent. kicking in. I mean, I'm being dragged into this because I don't like Zoom, but there's so many people. Yeah, I'd prefer Zoom. And so
Hmm.
don't be surprised if you're going to close it. Well, Jesse,
Yeah.
20, probably 25 million this year in FIAs and probably another 10 to 15 million in AUM, all Zoom. If he has a guy that's 5 miles from him and lead, he will still do the Zoom.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's insane to me. My brain still can't comprehend that. Like I'm still trying to figure out because I fight the thing. Why would someone move $400,000 and they don't even know me? Well, it's the confidence he has on the phone. And I can do the same thing. I mean, I've had millions of dollars moved over the phone. It's still something that my brain struggles with.
Yeah.
One thing
Uh,
you'll find about me is I'm very candid. I'm not giving you false hope, false perceptions. I struggle just like you do, even to this day.
I love that. Andrew says, how many touches does it take to usually book an appointment, and how many no-shows can I expect in a month?
So it's not mortgage protection. So mortgage protection, man, I used to have a 70% show rate and it was insane. I hated it. I mean, my highest, I think I got up to where 80% of my appointments, I would go there and they would be there, which
Pretty
is
good.
still, it is. But I'd create an urgency. Everything was like, hey, you know what? I know you're talking to me about protecting your family, but remember, there's a lot of little things that can come up to, and then you wish you would have. Oh, wait, you don't wish you would because you're dead. And now your family's trying to figure out how they're going to take care of their mortgage. So make sure you set priorities. And it's not that they don't want to, it's that there's life hits us from all directions, is that's a reality. My average close is two. So if I'm my first appointment, my one sit, one closes are probably about 15 to 18%. That's face to face. Virtually, I know that's not a reality. Virtually, I know my first appointment is going to be education. It'll probably take 2 to 3 for me to get the rest of the things taken care of. So if I would say in virtual, probably 2 to 3 would be the norm. If you're confident on the Zoom call. So if you're not confident, you can tell the difference. If you're like, well, I think this might be, well, forget it. You're not getting the deal. Do not use but that's a whole nother training I could go through. That's on the
Mm,
platform. You've got to be confident. So a confident person that knows what they're talking about, 2 to 3 should be the norm. As far as no shows, Calendly you can reschedule. Even face to face, I still probably have about one no show out of probably out about 25 appointments.
mm,
But it's different. That's
oh,
not normal. That's not normal. It's just people want to meet with me because I've exposed a problem that they need a solution to, and they set it on a priority list. But that's all during the appointment.
mm. Michelle says, I'm captive. Can I offer my company carriers? Yes. These leads are
Yeah.
looking for an annuity. They're looking for help with retirement, right? Via
Mhm.
an annuity. Um, Andrew says, how many different carriers should you be appointed with?
That's a great question. I would say probably 10. 10 is probably a good number because you can meet. Now, the problem is when you're talking to marketers, a lot of marketers are trying to give you their top carriers and not necessarily the best. So we have tools that I'm not sure if it's in this, but we have tools that we use that literally compares all companies in one shot. That question's above my pay grade as far as I don't know if in this platform we have access for the agents to that, but I know I use a software that compares all companies in one shot.
Mm, that's cool. You talked about the sales cycle. Elijah,
Sales cycle, it should be within 3 weeks to 2 months to get everything beginning to end. That's a long 2 months is a long sales cycle, but I'm trying to be give you realistic expectations.
Elijah says, as a newly licensed agent, should I start off with annuities?
Uh-huh. Oh boy.
I'm letting you take that one. I don't
Yeah,
know.
that's a tough one because you don't test your knowledge on your clients are not your guinea pigs. So there's a couple large organizations out there that they get people started in annuities right away and they call your family, call your friends. So let's mess over your family and your friends first. because you don't know everything. Let's just start family division by pitching everybody we know and then wonder why you don't have any friends anymore. Um, so I mean, there's some large institutions out there that do that. So I would say yes, you can start off with annuities, but you better be very well versed in them. Study like crazy, know what you're doing. It's kind of like my daughter just became a nurse and she had to go through the full schooling. Now she went through 4 years of schooling for this and then a whole bunch of extra stuff. And she goes, Dad, they're giving me my own patients. And I'm like, yeah, that's what you're prepared for. You know, that's what you're supposed to do. So that's an individual, it's situational off of each individual. I would say if you're really good at confidence, knowing what you're talking about, and you're an expert in this area, then yes, you can start off with annuities.
100%. Yvonne, 5 to 10 states is a good amount of states to start with. The
That's
more,
good.
the merrier. But
Yeah.
Jenna says you can vet your leads to plan ahead for in person. Oh, you would definitely vet thoroughly before you went anywhere. If it's virtual, right? If they're in a different state or whatever. You're driving around Colorado sometimes, I would guess. But
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, because of what I do though, I basically will not go more than 2 hours away driving. I just can't. I have too many other responsibilities that I'm taking care of. I have responsibility in my own time, you know. I mean, I love dating my wife. I love going out with my family. I love doing stuff like that. So I'm careful on how much time I spend away tracking leads. So vetting them, yes.
Josh says, how realistic is it to be able to do the 40 leads for 7,500 bucks and be able to manage the prospects coming in, deals pending, and the speed of leads actually coming in for 40 a month?
That's a great question, Josh. So look behind me. You see all those? That's all the pending business I have. I have 19 applications right now pending. And I do that all myself. I do my own calls, my own appointments, my own follow up, my own pending business. I do all of that. And I could easily handle 40 leads a week because that allows me to do more cherry picking. What do I mean by cherry picking? It allows me to vet the ones that are serious about wanting help. It's not that I don't want to help everybody, I do. But the ones that want help, it's for an easy thing. You're looking in the water, you're seeing people, they're all drowning. Which one do you throw to life preserver first? The one that has their arms up, the ones that can catch it. Because from someone who has been around the water's entire life, you jump in there to a person that isn't motivated to get saved, they're going to drown you with them. And that's a life lesson right there. So when you have people saying, "Hey, I'm ready to retire. I need help." Those are the ones you're able to help first. So more leads. But from a cost standpoint, I think 20 leads a week is a very realistic. You're going to be a heavy hitter, big producer. 10 leads a week, you should easily, with the education, the desire, the drive, that's just all that you should be able to do 10 plus million a year in annuities.
Absolutely. And as long as the agent has enough states, we can generate 40 a month for sure. Just to give him Josh some confidence as well.
Yeah.
A couple of these we already answered. Yes, if you add your calendar link, we can ask the prospects to book. We can't make them book, but we can request that they book.
Hey, if
After
you want really good leads and you want to be good, Cody, let's see if you can get them to book and fill out the annuity application without talking to the client or talking to the agent.
we're working on that. I expect about, another 70 years before we figure that
Yeah, you know what?
out.
You and I need to talk because yeah, there's something. Yeah, I'm telling you, you and I got a lot of things we can work on. We could rock this industry. I'm telling you.
Amen. With that one
Yeah,
especially.
yeah.
Somebody asked about questions. So we actually go through 11 different fields. How soon are you planning to retire? What type of this is the survey, right? How soon are you planning to retire? What type of retirement plans are you investing in now? How much money do you have saved up for retirement? We get their age, we get their first name, we get their last name, we get their email, their state, their zip code, their cell phone number. We use the software to send the verification code, and they have to actually opt in not only to the verification, but an actual opt-in as well, where they are allowing an annuity trusted advisor to reach out to the number that they provided. And so they're having to opt in to TCPA language as well.
We're also working on a really good bio. I sent that to oh my gosh, who's your guy?
Brett,
Brett. Yeah, I just sent him my bio. So we're working on that too because
that'd be
a
cool.
picture Why do realtors always have a picture on their marketing? Because a picture does a lot, especially if you're going to be doing a Zoom. So we're working on that
Mm,
as well.
that awesome. Good. I love that idea. Um,
That
what
was
did
a
the
good question Alan said about how many questions are on there because there are a lot of lead generation sources out there where they literally, how old are you? 60. Okay. Lead. That's a lead. No, put in your phone number. Like, no, it's not. If they're getting through 11 questions, they got to be pretty serious.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I
That's a
should
great.
ask that question before I agreed to sign up with you.
Right.
I need to have
Uh,
Alan be my advisor, see, how do I ask the questions on how to use? No, I've done this a lot.
Yeah.
So
Are we going to have access to Chad's CRM system, also being able to continue using it? Yes, as a part of this annuity marketing system, you do get access. Now, if you're not on the system, you're going to
yeah.
have to pay them for the CRM. For
Correct.
sure.
Yeah, you're not going to be able. That's the one thing. We are loyal people. That's why it took so long for me. I mean, Cody's reached out to me multiple times. Once I'm in, I'm in. Like I'm loyal. Like I said, being married at 19 and now being married for 31 years. And I'm telling you, we have an awesome marriage. It is not, we are not roommates. We love being around each other. And it's because I'm all in on it. I stay committed to that. I'm the same way in business. So when you're looking at, are you going to try this out for a little bit? If you're just going to try it, you're probably not going to do well. I have a minimum of 6 months for any lead system that I try because
Mm,
I need to what if that lead I got 5 months ago, I finally got in touch with them and it's $1 million annuity. I mean, Cody, you don't know this, but one of the leads I got was a Kaboom lead, $1 million deal. And it was literally, I met with this guy 2 times and I got $1 million deal. And I'm just sitting there going, well, what about these leads that I haven't gotten in touch with? What if the market drops and I'm calling them and then they go to use that? I mean, literally, and that was a 7% comp on that. So that
mm,
literally $70,000 I got on one lead. And when I always look at it this way, the next one's going to be the one. The next one's going to be the one. The next one's going to be the one. So
yeah.
yeah, it's
Also, just to make everyone feel better, I can tell that you have been working with us. I looked it up in our system with our annuity leads since January the 10th of this year. And we've known each other for a lot longer, but like
yeah,
actually working together
yeah,
literally the entire year. So this
yeah.
isn't new. Like, yeah, I
No,
was like, Chad, we need help with training and all this other stuff. We chatted, we talked,
yeah.
and people were like, hey, does Chad use this? And I'm like, I gotta be careful because Chad is not giving me permission to tell everybody that Chad's on our system, right? And that
We had that conversation for months, where I said, don't use my name right now. I need to make sure this works before I can do that. And now you can use my name. Clearly, we're on a webinar. So yeah,
Sure. And I respected that because some people
yeah.
were like, yeah, you can use my name immediately. Well, I love that you're like, hey, my reputation's important. I
Mhm.
don't want to lead advisors astray. I need to make sure this works. And, so that's the cool thing is like, you've got someone that's been in the annuity business for decades
Yeah.
and is writing $40 million a year in his own pen and saying, hey, I'm using this system. It's not the only system he uses, but it is a part of the mix and it's something that he is literally doing. So,
I'm
um,
hoping though that this, because of the number of leads I require and the limitations I have on what I can do, I'm hoping this actually replaces. I have 11 different lead systems right now, and I spend way more money than what these cost. So as I get these trickled in, I told you the first 50 leads I got, I did not work them like I'm supposed to. I literally have the first 50 leads I got, I called once,
mm,
period, and I still ended up writing 2.5 million off of that first batch. And I'm telling you, I did not work these leads. And so this next batch, I said 2 weeks ago when they started coming, I'm going to work them. Guess what? I've only gotten through half the leads. So I'm like, I'm a hypocrite. I need, I'm trying, but then I get sick and I'm like, oh, you know how it goes. It's just everything runs you over. And so I'm hoping this literally becomes my primary lead source.
I
And I
love
sh
that.
and I should if I work them like I'm supposed to, and I just haven't been. So
Amen. Well, we're grateful for the opportunity. We're extremely excited. I know I want to be respectful of your time. We're a few minutes
mhm,
over.
yeah,
I think we've answered literally um, Is there annuity training that we can take prior to starting? Uh,
No,
no, yeah,
no,
good.
no. I'm going
Yeah,
to give you the beef before killing the cow. The cow's not going to be happy with that. You know,
yeah.
it's like, no, we've worked our tails off getting this training going, and this is a way we make the most of everything. And when you have leads coming in with the training, it's very important to understand the two work together. So, how do you prevent chargebacks and secure an annuity lead? Chargebacks literally happen most of the time because people didn't do their due diligence on the front and get a full fact finder and find a solution to the problem. I mean, I maybe have one charge back a year, and it's usually because of something way beyond my control. Somebody died, they got a divorce, something along those lines. So, yeah, I mean, there's so many questions we could answer. What's your time frame, Cody? I mean, I know you got a lot.
I gotta do have to jump on another Zoom that I'm
Yeah,
8 minutes late for, but I'm okay. I mean, I could take a couple more if I need to. So,
yeah.
but the good news is, once they jump on a call with Adam and get started with the annuity marketing system, they get to be on the Zoom with your team every week.
Yeah, for sure. That's great. That's a good point. These questions you're on, I mean, like I said, make Adam wish he never would have given his Calendly link.
Amen.
I want him to feel my pain with the leads I just got in, and literally I'm sitting there, I'm going, how am I going to make these calls? And here's this thing to understand. If I make calls and I just was on an hour and 15-minute Zoom, I'm going to lose my voice. And then I already have appointments scheduled for Friday or Wednesday and Thursday. So I won't have a voice to give them. But if somebody triggered a response, excuse me, and it says iron sharpens iron. That's a true statement. And this Cody knows this about me. Iron only sharpens iron if it's approached from the right angle. And
Mm,
the angle, so I could do iron on iron and I'm going to dull it because I'm not approaching at the right angle. This annuity lead system and our partnership is only going to work if you approach it at the right angle. And that's how you get sharp. And that has to do with your attitude and your determination. Once again, if iron against iron, if you're just kind of just whatever, nonchalant, lazy, you're never going to sharpen. You need to be vigorous. You need to go after it. You need to make sure it's at the right angle. That's the only way you're going to make this partnership work with these leads. So you need to go all in on these, not halfway. That gentleman that said 15 to 23,000 is his initial investment. That is a guy that is approaching it with vigor and going after it. And that's what we need in our industry, because if you do that at the front and you're a bot all in, that means every client you're going to meet with, you're going to approach with that same attitude, that same drive, that same determination. And we're literally going to change this industry. And no, the word annuity is going to be an incredible thing, which it already is that way. The annuity went from being the devil to now they're going, wow, I'm really looking for annuities. And that's why we're starting to see this increase and leads the way we are. And Cody and his team have done that. They have done that. They've literally created an infinite lead system. And I'm telling you, let's start an Askins baby fund and let's just start with get 100 people to do that. And that way we can I'm telling you, why do I push for people to have kids? You notice I only do that with the people that are good. When they have good ethics and integrity and they have a drive and they want to better people's lives, they need little ones running around that are going to do the exact same thing. So
amen.
that's just why I do that. And I'm going to keep bugging Cody till it happens. So
I love it. Well, thank you for
yeah,
being on tonight.
awesome.
Appreciate you sharing. I know your voice is going out. You got a lot going
It
on this
is.
week.
It
You have
is.
been incredible, and thank you for for all you're doing with the annuity marketing system and all that you're doing to help support. And I
Yep.
appreciate your time tonight. Thank you, Chad.
Thank you so much, Cody. Everybody have a great day. We'll talk to you later.
Thank you guys for hanging with us. We'll see you inside the annuity marketing system. Hope you enjoyed the webinar, and we will
Click the link. Click the link.
get
Make
on
Adam
Adam's
happy.
calendar. That's right.
Adam sits around and does nothing but watch basketball. Make him work for his money.
Amen. Let's
Okay,
go.
talk to you later. Bye bye.
See you guys. Bye bye.